Hey there, it's Kat and this is Brews and Reviews. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about my massive August TBR. For some reason, I decided that it would be a great idea to take part in 2 readathons in August, and one of them's not exactly a small readathon. So this TBR is extremely ambitious. I know that going into it. We're just gonna see if I can do it. I'm gonna try and probably not be successful, but these are the books that I want to read throughout August. So the 2 readathons that I'm taking part in are the Summer Mixtape Readathon, which runs from the 1st until the 14th of August. This one has 9 prompts, 4 of which are self-care prompts, which I love because, you know, it's nice to take care of yourself. And the other 5 prompts are based on 5 summer songs. Who's that? Why with your motorbike? The 5 reading prompts are based on summer songs, and they should be pretty easy to complete. So that one should be pretty straightforward. The second readathon I'm taking part in is the Orilium Autumn Equinox Magical Readathon, and that runs throughout the whole of August, and it's a little bit more complicated than that. If you want to know any more information about both of these readathons, I'll leave all of the information for them and the hosts in the description below so you can go check them out. So let's start off with the summer mixtape and the books that I'm planning to read for that. Prompt number 1 is Here Comes the Sun, read a book with nature on the cover. And the book I want to read for this is Redemptor by Jordan Ifueko. So I read Raybearer at the end of July and I really enjoyed it, and I just really want to read the next one straight away. I think sometimes I get it into my head that I'm just like, oh, I'll just read it later, and then I end up having to reread the first book because I left it too long and then it's a whole thing. So I'm like, just do it. Just read it. So there is a whole lot of nature on the cover. There's like crocodile, alligator-y type things and flowers and shrubs and stuff. So I feel like this is like the perfect cover for this, and it's also a duology, so I'll feel really accomplished when I get to the end of this. Prompt number 2, Blame It on the Weatherman, read an unseasonal read. For this one, I ummed and ahed over what I was going to pick for this because a lot of like the Christmas books and the Halloween-ish type books I've saved for that time of the year, and that's like just coming up, so I'm like, I just want to continue to save those. So what I decided to do was reread a book that I've been wanting to reread for a while, and that is No Exit by Taylor Adams. This book, as you can probably tell, maybe a little bit from this cover, it's set in a very snowy place. The main character is racing to get back to her mother who is dying and ends up sort of getting snowed into a mountain truck stop with a few other people. She goes for a walk to see if she can get some signal, and she finds a little girl in the back of one of the trucks who has obviously been kidnapped. It's a thriller. I really enjoyed it when I read it the first time. I couldn't stop reading. I thought this will be a nice, quick, small read for this. I kind of need to emphasize that some of these reads I've picked are not small, so anytime that there is a small read on this TBR, it's a good thing for me. So yeah, hopefully this one will be a very quick, fun read. Also kind of gory and grim, but it was overall a book that I really enjoyed. Prompt number 3, Cake by the Ocean, read a book involving food or a spicy book. I cannot tell you enough how much it tickled me that Victoria thought this song was about food, and I could read a book about food, but I decided no, I'm going to read a spicy book because I tend to find that spicy books are really quick to read, and again, that is what we are going for. So the book that I'm planning to read here is one that I have had on my Kindle Unlimited pile for a while, and I was like, I should just read this. And it's Sinful Demon King by Nikki St. Crow, and this is the 2nd book in a series. I think it's a trilogy about a demon king and some girl who is sort of immune to the Demon King's powers. See, I've left it a little bit too long since I read the first one, and I'm like, slightly forgotten some things. Can't explain what the plot is about, but there's gonna be sexy times, there's a Demon King, and demon stuff. So we're gonna go with that. It's one of those covers where there's like a naked, shirtless man on the cover, so you know, it's a bit spicy. The first one was spicy. Nikki St. Crow writes spicy things, so it will be spicy. Prompt number 4, we're going to Ibiza. Read a book set in another country. Also, it does kill me to say Ibiza, but that's how the Venga Boys say it. And the book I'm going to read for this is The Spanish Love Deception. I don't know who that's by. Who's that by? Elena Armas. I'm mostly guessing that this takes part in Spain. I think it's about a woman who goes to a wedding in Spain, but honestly, I just picked this one up because I've heard a lot of things about it, and Just seems like an easy, nice contemporary read. So hopefully it will be a good time. And the final reading prompt for the summer mixtape is to pick a book based on your favourite summer bop or a free read. Now I found this really difficult until I thought about the songs that I listened to in the summer. Now, growing up, there are a lot of songs that my family used to just put on when we were having barbecues, so there was like background barbecue music, and one of the albums that my parents used to put on was Older by George Michael, and one of the songs that is on that album is called Spinning the Wheel. Now, this worked out incredibly well because one of the prompts in the Magical Readathon is to spin a colour wheel, and I thought, oh, Spinning the Wheel by George Michael, I can spin a wheel and pick a colour and to do it like that. So, so I spun the wheel. This is what happened when I spun the wheel. So it was orange. I don't really have very many orange books. The orange book that I do have, that I'm partway through and / considering restarting because I feel like I just need to read it all in one go. A Court of Silver Flames. A Court of Silver, 600 and something pages, flames. Yeah, I don't think this is a smart decision, but I just need to finish this book already. I really do. It's just never going to get read if I don't just commit to it. So I think what I'm going to do is restart it, read all the way through, and that is why it's so important that the rest of the books on this TBR were tiny. So those are the books I'm going to be reading for the summer mixtape. I am doubling up those prompts wherever possible, so let's talk about the books that I'm reading for the Orilium Magical Readathon. I'm going to first talk about the books that I am reading to complete the Dreamwalker career path, and then we'll move on to the quests. Because yes, I did find the quest prompts, and I thought, well, maybe I can plan some of those, not all of them. I don't have books for all of them, but you know, if I get to the point where I have free time, doubtful, but if I get there, then I will have some free mood read pick time things. I mean, this TBR is so huge anyway, so let's get straight into it. So the first prompt that I need to fulfill is Alchemy at O level, and that's to read a book on somebody's worst list that you think that you'll like. And for this one I'm going to be reading The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. And the person that really, really doesn't like this book is Hugo from Scientist Reading World. And to be honest, he's talked about it so much that it's actually made me want to read it more to see if I hate it too, or if I just enjoy it. I don't know, people are very mixed about this book, but Hugo really doesn't like it, so I'm going to give it a go because I might. Or I might not, and then you'll hear rants about it, and then it'll be great for everyone. The next prompt is Art of Illusion at O level. This prompt is to read a book you don't know much about, and for that one I'm picking The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. This is a book that I can't even describe to you because it was given to me as a gift and I still don't know what it's about. I haven't read the synopsis. I have just had it sitting there and I'm like, I'm guessing there's an ocean and a boy that goes swimming in it. That is how little I know about this book. So, it's gonna be fun. It's also on my 2022 physical TBR, so you know this needs to be read at some point, but I don't know anything about it. I also need to get an Art of Illusion Q level, and that is a book under 300 pages. We like this prompt. We like smaller books, especially for the month of August. So for this one I'm going to pick Sky in the Deep by Adrian Young, and this is another book I don't really know very much about. I picked it up ages ago. It's been on my TBR for ages and I just haven't picked it up. I think it's about Vikings, but I don't really know. I think I'm just saying that it's about Vikings because I looked at the cover and I was like, she looks vaguely Viking-y. That's probably the worst misinterpretation of a book. Here's the thing, I could look up what the plot of this book is, but I'm not going to because I think sometimes going into a book not expecting anything, not knowing anything about it, can really yield positive results for me. So you might call it lazy. I call it trusting one's instincts of random picking. The next prompt that I need to fulfill is Spells and Incantations at O level, and that is to use a colour wheel and pick a book matching the colour that you get, which obviously is A Court of Silver Flames. Yeah. The next prompt is psionics and divination, and I have to get an O, Q, and D level in this, so there are 3 prompts for this one. So for O level, I need to pick a book that features time travel, and for this one I'm picking Hyperion by Dan Simmons. I think that there's time travel in it. I had to really ask around about time travel books because I was trying to find anything that already existed on my TBR that had time travel in it, and then my friend was like, Hyperion! And I've kind of been putting Hyperion off for a while because it's a 20-ish hour audiobook, and it's sci-fi, and it looks to me like it could be hard sci-fi, and I don't know how I feel about it, but this will push me to actually read it. And this is definitely going to be one of the books that I pick up first, or else I can see myself avoiding it for the entire readathon, and then conveniently not reading it. I can't really tell you what this book is about. I think it is about some travellers who are going on like a pilgrimage. They're going on a pilgrimage to a world in which there is a sort of mechanical living death god thing called the Shrike, and then it kills people. I'm very confused, don't know what this book is about. Please ignore that synopsis because it probably was wrong. I would be really interested to hear people that have read Hyperion tell me how bad a description that was of Hyperion. For a Q level, I need to read a book with the same word in the title as the previous read. So I'm planning to read this one straight after Sky in the Deep, and the book that I'm going to read is Lying in Wait. Yes, I did pick in, and that might be being very sneaky about it, but this is also on one of my yearly TBRs, and I was like, I'm not going to get around to it if I don't actively choose to get around to it, so this is the book I'm going to read. I've only read one Liz Nugent book, and I went into it not knowing very much, and it was about horrible people, and it had the best ending, so I have quite high expectations for this, even though I have no clue what it's about. I think it's a thriller, and I am very excited to read it. And for a D level in psionics and divination, I have to read a second-hand book, and for that one I picked Full Metal Alchemist Volume 6, because my friend got rid of these books, and she was like, does anyone want them? And I said, oh yes please, I will have those. And I've been working my way through this manga series for a while, and I thought, oh, a nice manga to, you know, be nice to myself. So that's just one I'm looking forward to because it should be a pretty easy read. So the last prompt for the Dreamwalker career path is law, and I need to get an O level, and the prompt is to choose a book with colours on the cover that are similar to my country's flag. And I decided to pick The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. Obviously I'm from the United Kingdom. Nobody wants to pick England, so we're going with the United Kingdom. There's blue, there's white, there's red. I keep never picking this book up, and then I've heard a few people talk about it recently, and they've made it sound really interesting, so I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to pick it up. Again, I don't really know what this book is about. I feel like I keep getting it confused with the diviners in my head, and I know they're not anything alike, but for some reason they sit together in my head, and I'm not interested in the diviners, so then somehow I keep going, oh well, I'm not interested in The Bone Season, but I am interested in The Bone Season, so I'm just going to pick it up and read it. So now we're on to the quests, which are sort of optional things, and they get you like extra bonuses for your guild that you're in. I'm in the Mindwalkers Guild, and I like just the opportunity to get guild points, so I'm going to try and do as many of these as possible. There are some that I don't have like books that I can associate with them just yet, so I'm just sort of like leaving those blank for now. They can be mood read times later, so the prompts that I am maybe gonna just have mood read things for are Amphibian Wranglers Wanted, which is an author's name that starts with a B or an F. Weirdly enough, don't have any of those. I have partially been considering rereading Jade Wars and then reading the sequels, but I just don't think that's gonna happen during August. I think that would be a little bit more ambitious than I'm willing to be right now. And the second one that I don't have a book for at the moment is Call for Bounty Hunters. Read a book and post a pic in an outfit inspired by the cover. I feel like I will just read a book that I want to read and then associate it with that prompt and try and find some sort of fashion thing. Oh god, I'm bad at fashion thing, obviously, as you can tell by the fact that I am dressed as a sitcom dad from the 80s. So the first quest that I actually have something for is Courier Needed, and that is to read a book with a movie adaptation. So for this one I'm going to read Horns by Joe Hill. This is a book with a film adaptation that had Daniel Radcliffe in, and I never watched it, so I don't really know very much about it. But I think something happens to his girlfriend and then he goes on like a revenge mission and he grows horns or something, or I could be entirely wrong, but I think it's about time that I finally read this book. The next prompt is discreet help needed, read a book with a shrubbery on the cover, and you have no idea how hard it was for me to not include a Monty Python reference in this. Anyway, for this prompt, I'm picking Redemptor by Jordan F. Waco because there's shrubs on it. That's the closest I'm going to get to a shrubbery, I feel, so Shrubs. The next quest is Guild Events Preparations, and for this one you have to read a buddy read. I have two options for this. I'm currently reading Rhapsodic with Kayla from Crack Into a Good Book, and I'm going to have like 100 pages left of that by the time that this readathon starts, so like maybe that can count. I'm also planning to read The Puppy War by R.F. Prung with my friends Joe and Simone, and like that will definitely count, so either one of those will count for this prompt. The next quest prompt is Paid Animal Therapy. Read a book with more than one animal on the cover or the title, and for this one I'm going to be reading Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. Yes, it's rather large, but it does have big font, and it's very floppy. I've been putting this one off for a very long time. Feel like it's about time that I finish this series. Don't know why I've been so reluctant to read it when I do really enjoy this world and this series. I don't know, it's about time I got to it. I need to know what happens. So yeah, anyway, multiple wolves, more than one wolf. Also, there is a wolf and a fox and a bird of some sort. I was going to say crow, it's not, and a dragon and a big tree. That's not an animal, but... The next quest prompt thing is potions testing, and it's to read a book with poison or potions in it. So for this one I decided another reread was in order, and this one also counts for my buzzword readathon prompt for the month, and that is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I need to read the later books in this series for my 30 books to read before 30 prompts, and honestly I've kind of forgotten what happened in the earlier ones, so I need to reread this. Hopefully it'll be the last time where I have to reread because I didn't finish the series, so this one's on the list. The next quest is Study Buddy Required, and for that one you need to read a book with morally grey characters in, and for this I'm gonna pick Half a World by Joe Abercrombie, which I think is the second book in this series. I don't know why, I can't remember what the name of this series is, and I don't... what is it called? I need to find out. This is one thing I'm actually going to... doesn't have... Can you just tell me? This Shattered Sea, is it called the Shattered Sea series? It might be. I think this is the second one, and I'm going to read it. It's about different characters from the first book who were sort of morally grey type people, and I believe that this will continue the trend. And if it doesn't, then I'll have to find something else, but I think it will, because I've heard that that's a lot of Joe Abercrombie. It's like morally grey characters. The next quest is THPS Volunteers? THPS Volunteers? Who knows? So this one is to read a historical fiction. And as you know, this is not the genre that I would choose to reach from very much at all. But the book that I'm going to pick for this is called The Wolf of Wessex, and this was recommended to me because I really like old, grumpy men characters who are warriors and like honourable type things, a la Dress the Legend from David Gemmell's works, and my friend said I'm going to really enjoy this, and it's not that long, it's only about 12 hours audiobook, so hopefully I will finally enjoy this. I definitely have resisted picking it up because it is historical fiction, but like, I'm going to do it. And the final quest prompt is The AWW Needs You, and for this one you have to read a book featuring undead characters, so I couldn't find books that had undead characters in, and then I remembered that I have a book called The Progeny on my Kindle Unlimited TBR, and that is about vampires, undead. I mean, at least I hope that they're the type of vampires that are undead, because technically, shouldn't all vampires be undead? I don't know, people make up their own rules when it comes to vampires, and I'm really not sure anymore, so hopefully these vampires are undead, and I will read the book called The Progeny. I have no idea what it's about. I don't know. This TBR is getting to me, I'm sure you can tell. There's a lot of books on it, I'm not even done! As it is the 31st of July right now, I'm probably not going to finish this book today, even though I would like to. I have to finish Unravel the Dusk by Elizabeth Lim. I'm currently 107 pages into this book, and there are more to come. So I think that I can fit this in somewhere. Maybe I'll make it like the one where I take a picture of the book as well. I will figure out how to fit this into this TBR if I haven't finished it by today, which obviously I'm not going to because yeah. So those are all the books that I'm planning to read. Let me know which ones you think that I should prioritise, if you're planning on reading any of these. If you have TBRs for the Magical Readathon or the Summer Mixtape. What song did you pick for the Summer Mixtape? Because I'm really curious about everyone's summer bops. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!